Hi everybody, thanks for joining us for our Global Family Reunion G+ Hangout on Air. I'm Eowyn. I'm going to be the moderator for the Hangout. If you don't know me, I'm the WikiTree GFR-ers elf. I'm also the Chief Cousin Coordinator for the Global Family Reunion. Let me go ahead and take you through everyone else that's participating in the Hangout today. First is our esteemed WikiTree-er-in-Chief, Chris Whitten. Then we have Abby Glann. She's our leader liaison for WikiTree, and she's also the director of research for the Global Family Reunion. We have Kitty Smith, who's one of our awesome WikiTree leaders, and she's super into DNA and all that kind of stuff. We've got Tom Shaw, who's another one of our great leaders, and he heads up our cemetery project. And we have Karen Tovo, who's an awesome WikiTree member, and he's been great at helping us make connections for the Global Family Reunion. And then last, but obviously not least, we have AJ Jacobs, who's the founder of the Global Family Reunion, and he's the one who came up with this whole idea. We'll hear from him in just a second. We just decided to have this hangout so we could kind of catch everybody up on what's going on with the Global Family Reunion. If you don't know yet, it's going to take place June 6th, 2015 in New York City. We have a great website. It's globalfamilyreunion.com. You can get all kinds of fun details on there. If you're watching on the G+ Hangout page, feel free to post any questions or comments you might have, and we'll try to get those answered during the Hangout. So we'll go ahead and turn it over to AJ.
Thank you, Eowyn, and thank you, everyone, for hanging out. And, yeah, as Eowyn said, we just wanted to give you a little update and also get feedback from you, trade tips. You can tell me what I could be doing better. I would love to hear that. So I'll just jump in right to the update. Well, first, thank you to everyone at WikiTree for your amazing work and creativity and passion. I am blown away, as I've said before. And I had coffee with WikiTree-er-in-Chief Chris yesterday, and we were saying that the mission, the vision of WikiTree and the vision of the Global Family Reunion, it's like if you drew a Venn diagram, it would be the circles would be pretty much right on top of each other. So I just love that we are so in line and we are helping each other, and I think the message is getting out there about this idea of one family tree, one big family tree, and people are latching onto it. We have 30,000 on our mailing list, and that's growing every day. I've been doing as much press as I can. And I got a lovely email yesterday from a woman who, she's a therapist at a VA hospital, and she showed yesterday a clip of Conan O'Brien. I was on Conan O'Brien talking about the Global Family Reunion, and she showed the clip to her therapy group because they're at the VA hospital, so they're away from their family a lot, and they just appreciated the idea that family is more than just your immediate family, and so I love that. I love that we're making a difference. I'll give you a quick update on the event. For those who don't know, the event is June 6, 2015. It will be in New York on the grounds of the World's Fair, but there will be satellite events all around the world, and we've got some amazing ones set up. One in Salt Lake City at the Family Library. We've also got, interestingly, we've got the Cherokee Nation is throwing an event. So we've got all sorts of cool events that'll happen simultaneously, and we'll be live streaming our event to them. The reunion itself is sort of a genealogy conference meets a family reunion meets a music festival. So the genealogy conference part is that we've got these great speakers about genealogy. So we've got Henry Louis Gates from the PBS show Finding Your Roots, and he is, you know, he's like the rock star. I'm so excited that he had agreed to speak because, you know, he's like the the Bono of genealogy, to me at least. And then we've got Spencer Wells, who's a brilliant geneticist, who's heading up the Genographic Project, where they got almost 1 million people around the world to do DNA tests. C.C. Moore, who's another great geneticist, genetic genealogist. Josh Taylor. And of course we have, well, we don't have Chris Whitten. We tried to get Chris Whitten, but he does not like public speaking. So we will have, Tammy will be talking about WikiTree for the WikiTree community. But Chris will be there, I hope, even if he's not speaking.
I will be there.
All right. So that's the genealogy conference part of it, but it's also, we're trying to make it as fun and memorable and family. So we've got all sorts of fun activities related to families. Like we've got a scavenger hunt. My wife actually, weirdly enough, her job is to put on scavenger hunts. So we've got a scavenger hunt. We've got quizzes. Ken Jennings, who's like the Jeopardy champion of all Jeopardy champs, he wrote a family related quiz, so that'll be part of it. We've got another quiz by a great genealogist named Pam Weisberger of like fictional family trees. You've got to name the family based on, like, you know, the Sopranos or the ones from Lord of the Rings. Then we've got Sister Sledge will be there singing live. They'll be singing "We Are Family," so I thought that was important. And we've got some other great music too. Lisa Loeb and Paul Williams, who you might remember from the 70s and 80s. He's coming because he has a song called "Family of Man," so we thought that was really appropriate. There'll be a family talent contest. And there'll be food trucks. There'll be lots of booths. WikiTree, of course, will have a booth so people can learn and sign up. But there'll be all sorts of other booths related to genealogy and science and research and games. We'll do the world's biggest family photo. Will be there, and that will hopefully that'll be taken by a drone. So that'll rise up in the air. And Morgan Spurlock, who is the movie director, he made the movie Super Size Me. So he's planning on making a documentary about the global family reunion. And what else can I tell? There's comedy. There's some great There's a comedian named Nick Kroll who has a show on Comedy Central. Michael Ian Black, another funny comedian. So that is there's so much, and Chris was telling me we've got to have communicating what's all these activities. So hopefully you'll see that on the website. And also, finally, we want as many members of the family to show off their talent as possible. So we'll be announcing soon that people should just email us with what they are. I think, is it Karen's husband is a magician, or is it
It's
kidding?
true. My husband, Greg Tobo.
There you go. So if he has
that's great.
time and interest, he is invited to come, because I think it'll be fun to have just dozens of people showing off their talents. And the other update I have is just the media is going very well. People really seem to be taking to the idea of one big family. So we've done a lot recently. I was on Dr. Oz talking about it, and Conan O'Brien I taped on Monday, which was a lot of fun. I told him how he was related to various people like Abraham Lincoln and Kim Kardashian, and the good thing was I didn't have to memorize the, you're my Kim Kardashian is your third aunt's sister's brother's husband's fourth great niece, because they had a cue card guy, and they put put it on a cue card. That was the best part of the experience. So I want a cue card for like every part of my life. I'd never seen it. I never read off a cue card before, but I really recommend it. So I'm gonna do it. You know, when I'm in an argument with my wife, I need cue cards. And so that's the update from the event and media end. And Eowyn, what's next on our agenda?
AJ, that's a great question. Let me ask you one of the questions that have popped up on the Hangout page. And that was from Mags. She wanted to know about world records and will we be breaking any?
Oh yes, we will. We will. I am confident. We have the current world record for biggest family reunion is 4,514. A family in France has it. So we plan to break that. The structure of the reunion, everyone in the human family is invited. Everyone's invited. But if you can prove through WikiTree or through DNA that you are part of the super extended family, then we count that towards being part of the record-breaking family reunion. So I have been in touch with Guinness, and just off the record, that is quite some organization. They are, they like to charge money. You're basically, you have to pay to break a record. So we're working with them. I also have another record organization called Record Setters, which a friend of mine runs, which is wonderful, and it's more like the YouTube, or it's actually more like the WikiTree of records, because everyone can upload your own record. You take a video and then you upload it, and you compete against others. So anyway, yes, the answer is we will be breaking a record. And the final part that I forgot to mention is that all proceeds go to Alzheimer's, because I figured if we're going to get all these people together, why not do it for a good cause? It will be a ticketed event, but we're going to keep the ticket price as low as humanly possible. It's going to be about $15, and just the ticket, and that includes admission to the museum, which is on the grounds, and that ticket price is $15. So it's basically free, but we're hoping to make money through corporate sponsors and auctions and things like that.
Awesome. That's super exciting. It'll be really good. So just to kind of carry on from one of the things that AJ mentioned, one of the goals of the Global Family Reunion is to connect as many people as possible to AJ and to the global family, so they can get their bracelet and be in the family photo, but also just to help grow the WikiTree worldwide tree. So WikiTree researchers have been super awesome about jumping in and helping to make a ton of these connections for us, and just working hard to help people do their research and add to the tree and get connected. And one of the things we started a couple months ago was an incentive called Connect for the Cure, to kind of entice researchers to come and help us. And I'm going to let Abby explain a little bit about that and just talk about the process that we go through when we get these requests from people.
Thanks, Eowyn. Well, I'll start with how we have the volunteers get in touch with us. I mean, the first thing you want to do is just email us. You can do that through the website and let us know, hey, I want to help. And once you do that, I will talk with you a little bit, and we'll figure out, what your research background is, how you can help, because we have so many different ways with Connect for the Cure for people to help, from like just helping us put in some of the research that other researchers have done to build these trees out and show all the, the great sourcing and families people have put together, to actually doing the research to connect people. So once we figure out what you can do, we have our researchers go through these cousin requests that people send us with their family information. A lot of them don't have a background in genealogy, so they don't necessarily know where to even start tracing their family history, and that's where our volunteers come in. They give us those basics, and we try to help them get started. And ideally, we help them so that they're doing a little bit too, but that doesn't always end up going very far just because they're learning with us. So our goal is always to make a connection to AJ. So as the researcher, we have you research back as many generations, as you feel comfortable, and then start going sideways. I think that that's something as genealogists that feels a little weird. We're so ingrained to trace back. Those direct lines, our great-grandparents, our, sixth great-grandparents, whatever it is, that to think of the connection going through our aunt, ex-husband, third kid, second uncle, whatever it is, that it takes some learning. But so you just research. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just keep going. You get this request, you look at the names. Ideally, we put them into WikiTree, and then you just start adding sources and let the sources take you where you're going to go. One of my favorite things is to just type those names into Google and see what happens. Obituaries are fantastic for us. Those get us a lot of great information. And then start adding parents, and siblings, and spouses, nieces and nephews, whatever you can find. And then once you've gone as far as you can, or you think you found a connection on WikiTree, you email me. I check it all over and make sure that everything's sourced well. We see if we found a connection, and then we get in touch with Eowyn, and that's where the fun happens, because after you've done so many, we have all kinds of little prizes to give people to thank them, because we could not do this without our volunteer researchers. There's just no humanly way. There's sometimes I have to spend 2 weeks on finding some of our VIP connections, and if I had to do that for every cousin, we'd have 10 people at the reunion by the time we got to June. So we need as much help as we can get, and WikiTree has been fabulous with, like, hey, I can't figure out how to get these people hooked up to the tree. Can you lend me a hand? So just getting in touch with us and keep going.
Perfect. Thanks, Abby. Okay, so let's hop over to Karen. Karen, do you want to throw out a question?
Sure. How about if I'd like to hear from Chris or one of our other folks on the call about a holiday dish that they're looking forward to, and what was the one you looked forward to when you got to celebrate holidays with your grandparents?
I'll pass on that if somebody else wants to take it.
Well, I will say, in terms of food at the family reunion, the plan now is to have 50 food trucks from all over the world. So every branch of the human family, Jamaican jerk chicken to Irish pancake, Irish stuffed potatoes. So yeah, we're excited about that because New York has just amazing food trucks. And at one point, we were talking about having a cooking contest. Well, I think I'm jumping ahead here, but Eowyn, maybe you can talk a bit about the cookbook, the Global Family Reunion cookbook that we're working on.
Yeah, so that's one of the projects that some of us are working on. Like AJ mentioned, the whole event is basically a fundraiser for Alzheimer's. So one of the ideas that we came up with was to have the Global Family Reunion cookbook, since every family, everybody has family recipes and recipes that get passed on. And so we're working on that, and that should be ready to go early next year. Up with a great organization called food52.com. They're going to help us collect a lot of these recipes, and Tammy, our community assistant, she and I are going to work together and do the layout and do a really nice cookbook that will be up for sale, and all of the profits from that will all go towards the reunion and towards Alzheimer's. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be fun. We're collecting stories for it too. Just stories about food and family, and if you have a heartwarming family story that revolves around food somehow, You can send that to me at eowyn@wikitree.com, and maybe we'll get it included in the cookbook.
Love that. And then there are also some exciting partnerships that we've been doing with other genealogy organizations. So did Eowyn or Abby or Chris want to talk about that a little?
I can. So it's actually pretty exciting. It's great to see the genealogy community really get on board with what we're doing, and a lot of them have really stepped up to help. Like AJ mentioned earlier, Family Tree DNA. Bennett Greenspan's been really excited about the whole event. And Kitty, can you just talk for a second about Family Tree DNA and how we have a group there, and just maybe how people can find it if they're on there and interested?
Yeah, we have had on Family Tree DNA, we've had a WikiTree DNA project for a few months now. But very recently, AJ said something about starting up, a global family reunion DNA project. So what I decided to do, since we already had a good start with WikiTree, was to combine them. So now we have the GFR and WikiTree DNA project. And there's, I think, close to 300 people in the DNA project right now. And these are people that have actually DNA tested with Family Tree DNA, and they've signed up to be into the project. And I don't know exactly where it's going to go, to tell you the truth, but it's kind of exciting, and it's fun to compare across the world. You see your DNA compared with others in the project.
Totally. We had a question from a viewer who said, I'm excited and planning to be there on June 6th, but I'm not sure I'll be bringing my kids ages 3 and 6, since there's so many, it's going to be such a tight crowd. So to just address that, I'm very excited. That's from Brianne. I love that you're coming, Brianne, and I do hope you'll bring your kids. I do think that it'll be totally safe. First of all, to give you a little context on the site, it's got a museum, a science museum, which holds about 5,000 people. So think like the Smithsonian or the any of those museums that are very kid-friendly, where you have a lot of interactive exhibits, and all those will be open to the public. But there will also be 18 acres fenced off that we can use, and that's where a lot of our activities will be. So it's really not going to be crowded. There is an event that I spoke at called the Makers Fair. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. Fantastic event. It happens in September, so it's not overlapping at all, but it's at the same venue. It's basically the biggest science show and tell science fair ever, and they have 3D printers and drones and all that, and they get, over a weekend, Saturday and Sunday, they get 85,000 people. So that is so 40,000 a day. We are shooting for 15,000. We hope to get 15,000. So I am really, it's very spread out, and there will be plenty of room, and I do think it'll be very safe. There's security from the museum, and there'll be extra security just for the Global Family Reunion. So I do hope it'll be as kid-friendly as possible. I mean, that's one of our goals. Is obviously it's a family reunion, so make it a family event. So I do hope there'll be plenty. My kids will be there. My kids will be there, so they'll be looking out for all the other kids.
That's great. Thanks for answering that one. I'm sure that'll help.
Thanks for asking, Brian.
Tom, are you there? If you're there, do you want to throw out a question?
Sure. Hi, AJ.
Hey, Tom.
You just mentioned that one of the things you've got some collaborations going with some other organizations. Are you working at all with any of the any like Ancestry or Family Search?
Yeah,
Are
absolutely.
they're planning on participating?
Oh yes, I'm very excited for our partners. I mean, we've got WikiTree will be there, as I say, with a booth, but we've also got Family Search is going to have a big presence there, and they're one of our main sponsors.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, I'm excited. And My Heritage as well is a sponsor, and they'll have a presence. And they own Genie. And who else? And Find My Past will be involved somehow, as will 23andMe and Family Tree DNA. So we've got almost all of the big ones involved. And
Do you know if Family Search would? I know it might be a little bit of a complex undertaking for them to set something like that up for a one-day thing, but it would kind of be nice if they had like a temporary family history center set up
no, I
there
think
for.
that their plan is, and it's still early stages, so we don't know exactly, but their plan is to do something like what they do at Roots Tech. I don't know if any of you have been there, but they have a big sort of tent exhibit discovery center at Roots Tech, and the idea is to replicate that at the Global Family Reunion.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, hyped. They're a great partner. They are awesome.
And the satellite at Salt Lake City.
What's that?
And the satellite at Salt Lake City.
Yes, exactly. So they are helping. They are a big help with setting up these simultaneous parties all around the world. So they've got one in Salt Lake City. They have also helped me connect with the Midwest Genealogy Center. We'll be throwing one. There's a great genealogy library in Texas called the Clayton Library. They'll be having one, and a couple others.
Have you talked to anybody at the Allen County Library in Allen County, Indiana?
Thank you for reminding me. I was trying to think who the others were, and that's one of them. So yes, they'll be throwing one too.
Oh, good.
Oh, go ahead.
Just to touch a little more on branch parties, we do have a lot of big organizations that are throwing them, like the History Library and the Cherokee Nation, but we really want to encourage people all over the world to have their own, we call them branch parties, and they can be small, it can be a huge organization. If you just want to get your family together and have your own little mini family reunion, the speakers and the entertainers from the reunion will be live streamed, so you can still participate that way. There will be a lot of ways that you can still be involved, even if you're not at the actual reunion. So we just love to see these branch parties pop up. Even if it's just individuals doing it, or if it's an organization, just anybody can do them. And you can find details about that on our website. We have some help pages, with ideas for how to throw a branch party, and you can get registered with us if you want, because we're going to have them all listed on our website at globalfamilyreunion.com. So check that out too. It'll be fun.
And there's a wonderful volunteer who is helping us organize the branch parties named Angel Hundley. So if anyone's interested, she will provide you with all the information to set it up. And it's actually very easy. We'll provide the live stream, and then you can decide what to do, whether you want to replicate the activities at the Global Family Reunion or do something totally different yourself. And we're also working with the Federation of Genealogical Societies, which has 600 members, genealogical societies around the world, and so they are helping us get the local genealogy societies involved. And any one of those who wants to throw a party, we totally encourage.
Hey, I have a question, AJ. Maybe you could say what somebody could do if they wanted to volunteer. Like if somebody knows they're going to be there in June and would like to do something more than just attend. Is Is there something in particular they could do to volunteer?
Well, I am going to turn that over to Eowyn and Abby, who are wonderful and sort of helping to organize the volunteer effort. What do you guys think? The answer is yes, there's plenty to do.
I'll take that one. Again, on the website at globalfamilyreunion.com, there's a volunteer page. You can fill out the volunteer form, and there's a lot of different options for ways to volunteer. At the event itself, we'll just need tons of help because there's so much going on. So anybody who wants to help on the day of, please go and fill out that form. We're going to have people helping with assembly, setting things up, taking things down. We're going to have cousin ambassadors who are basically there to help with directions and answer questions. We're going to have a lot of just different little events. Like AJ said, we want to make it feel like a family reunion, so we'll have lots of little games and different stuff going on. So we'll have volunteers that are coordinating and planning and hosting those. There will just be stuff that we haven't even thought of yet. So definitely, if you're going to be there on that day and you want to volunteer, go and fill out that form. And
Right, and actually that reminds me, in addition to the conference and the music, we do want to have a little bit of a feel of an actual family reunion. So there will be, Abby came up with the idea of sack races. So we're going to have some sack races and things like that, just to give it that family reunion feel. But in addition to volunteering on the day of, there's so much to do now. I mean, a lot of you guys are expert researchers on WikiTree, so we certainly need research help because we have thousands of people who have sent in their names and names of their grandparents and birth dates, and they say, how am I on the big family tree? So if you have time and interest, please contact Abby or Eowyn, and they will help you get started. And that's part of the idea of Connect for a Cure, so that there's a little incentive that the Global Family Reunion will be donating $1 for every connection we make to the big family, so up to $10,000. So we'll be donating that to Alzheimer's. So we would love research help. But there's also other projects out there that we need help with. I don't know, Eowyn, do you have any other thoughts on other places people can help?
Why, yes, I do.
Thank you.
We have another program. It's called the Global Family Reunion Ambassadors, and that's for people who are really into social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, blogging. So we are enlisting those folks to help us spread the word and get it out there and share press links and anything like that. So if you're active on social media, we'd love to have your help there. We have a ton of outreach that we are going to be doing. AJ mentioned the 10,000 FT DNA folks that we want to email. We have a lot more DNA people we want to contact. We have outreach to do to exhibitors, and there's just a ton of stuff. So if you like doing outreach, if you like social media, if you want to help us research, there are just a ton of opportunities. There really are. And then find something else that we need to do, and we need someone to do it. So.
Oh, and listen, ideas. This is the first year for this. Hopefully it's a success, and we can do it every year. But if you have ideas or suggestions, please let us know. And also what I can be doing better, communication-wise or anything. I have a thick skin, so please email me anything wrong, and I'm happy to try to adjust.
So I just wanted to read a comment that Michelle Patient put on the Hangout page because it's good. I like it. She said, "The second rule of genealogy is food. Genies often seem more concerned with food than almost anything else at these conferences and fairs. Seriously, though, hope this goes viral in the mainstream media, and those of us outside of North America will get the flow-on effect, raising awareness of family history."
That's lovely. Yeah, I'm very hopeful about the food. I mean, these food trucks. That's the way the Makers Fair did it. That's the one with 85,000 people. they had about 50 food trucks, and it worked great. I mean, they were delicious. So I'm with you, though. Food, very important. I'm Jewish, and food is, you know, the centerpiece of all of our rituals. I'm very pro food.
So, one thing we want to do real quick, AJ's mentioned Roots Tech, which is a great genealogy conference that's coming up in February in Salt Lake City. The Federation of Genealogical Societies is having their conference at the same time in the same place, so you kind of get 2 for 1. WikiTree will be there. We'll have a booth. The Global Family Reunion will be there. They have a booth right across from WikiTree, so you can just look up. AJ is going to be one of the speakers there. He's a keynote speaker. And
Donny Osmond. I'm very excited to meet Donny Osmond, who we've connected to the tree. I think Kitty connected him to WikiTree, so we're excited that he's our cousin. And the Osmonds, there are a lot of Osmonds, so that helps our numbers.
WikiTree is actually a ambassador for Roots Tech, and because of that, they were very nice and gave us a 3-day all-access pass that we can have a contest and give away. And so we had a little contest. Some of you may have participated, where you had a few questions that you could answer. And so we just wanted to take a second and announce the winner, and Abby's going to do that.
Yes. So I'm going to start by reading our winner's reply to his question, and then I'll go ahead and announce who it was who said it. So this is what he had in reply to the question, why I love WikiTree. There are many things I love about WikiTree. I will list some in random order. It is 24/7, so it works with my schedule, everyone else's. It is so friendly and positive, which is the kind of daily input we all need to make our lives better. It is a teaching community where members help newer members evolve and everyone progresses together. The whole idea of one tree for everyone is so simple and brilliant and obvious that I don't see anyone reasonable holding on to my tree mentality for long. It's free. People offer and provide help or at least moral support. WikiTree is great at being professional while forgiving and user-friendly for us new people. I find WikiTree makes sense and is easy to use. Yes, there are many aspects I don't understand or have not even learned of, but the things I need are obvious and work, and the other things make themselves apparent as I need them. The greeters are awesome and provide as much needed service. My mentor, Sally Stovall, is awesome. I don't know if I was an extra needy newbie or not, but she was spot on answering my questions right away and helping me with any conceivable challenge. I don't bug her as much now, but truly feel as though she has my back if need be. I like the future where we can invite people to WikiTree. I hooked up my wife and my first cousin, hopefully others soon. I love that I can record our family history for my boys so that they won't have to dig so much like I did. I love how many ways WikiTree can display the family. It is the best way to show someone around the family I have found, far better than trying to show my mother charts and stacks of papers with underlined names. I love the arborist. I can't say I've had any chummy exchanges with any, but I didn't break bread with my knee surgery either. Arborists are the doctors of WikiTree, in my opinion. I give them whatever they ask for if they do, and I respectfully thank them kindly. I have posted the needs merging tag to some difficult merging methods, and they proficiently straightened it right out. I could obviously go on about WikiTree, but I just got called to dinner. So, the wonderful author of that is Robert Hathaway. So you have won our Roots Tech Pass giveaway.
Yay, Robert.
Nice.
Robert.
Great writing. I loved it.
Good stuff. Okay, Kitty, do you want to throw out a question?
Yeah, I have a question for AJ. A friend of mine picked up an old family Bible, and when she opened it, a piece of paper fluttered out. And she opened it up thinking it was a piece of trash, you know. And she opened it, and it had the signature of one of her ancestors, and it said, "Please don't forget me." What would you want your descendants to remember about you?
Oh, my goodness. Well, that is some story. I love that. And just before I answer that, that is part of the whole mission of, I think, WikiTree and the Global Family Reunion. And in fact, that's why we chose Alzheimer's as our cause, because it's, to me, family is a lot about your memories and the family stories, and the idea that if our elders lose their memory, we're losing a lot of what family means. So let's get rid of this horrible disease so that we can keep those family stories. And I guess in terms of what I hope my aunts, I hope that they don't remember that I posed nude for Esquire once. That was I didn't show anything, you know. I covered all the naughty bits, but it was part of this. We asked the actress Mary Louise Parker to pose nude, and she said she would only do it if the writer of the article also posed nude, so he could feel what it's like. And I was that writer, and my boss told me, "All right, well, take off your pants." So I'm hoping I'm honestly hoping that this will be part that people will remember, and the Global Family Reunion will be around as an annual event to remind people how we're one big family and that we share 99.9% of our DNA, and that it's that we should hopefully treat each other with a little more kindness, and that once that notion really sinks in. But you know what? I'm happy. I am actually happy to be forgotten, as long as that my family and my kids have made the world a better place. So I'm okay. I'm okay with being forgotten. I will not be writing a note like that in my family Bible.
Hey, here's a question from one of our WikiTree leaders, Roland Arsenal. He asked about transportation and lodging, if there will be discounts on local accommodations, maybe setting up some way for cousins to be able to connect to carpool if they're within driving distance, things like that. Do you want to cover that one, AJ?
Absolutely, and the answer is yes to all of the above. In terms of transportation, we're going to have a section on the website that will link to these great apps, ride-share apps. In terms of where to stay, there's the great apps like Airbnb and rideshare. I'm not rideshare. Couch surfing. So that's one inexpensive way to go. We've also partnered with the New York Convention and Tourist Bureau, and they are awesome. They are so excited for this, and they have helped us get deals at a dozen hotels in Manhattan and in Queens, which is where the site is. And these hotels range from a little over $100 to $300 if you want to be really fancy. And I know over 100 is a lot, but for New York, that's surprisingly cheap. So that will be on the website soon. We've already signed the deals with the hotels. But I also recommend the Airbnb route. I think that is a good way to get an inexpensive room in New York.
Excellent. I've used that Airbnb, and it is good. It's fun. It's a fun little app.
Yeah, and there's also other ones like HomeAway.com, which is actually contributing. They're like a small sponsor, so they'll be contributing a few free rooms, and we have to figure out what kind of contest to give those away. So that'll be part of it.
So Linda Grantham, who's actually the GFR Ambassador Coordinator, AJ, she wants to know if we can get Kermit to come and sing the Rainbow Connection at the
Excellent question. Well, hey, nice to see you. Thank you for that. Well, as I assume she knows, we have Paul Williams, who wrote the Rainbow Connection, and I don't know if he's bringing Kermit, but he will. Let's get him to sing it. I say let's get Paul Williams to sing it. You know, he likes to talk about how he's a small man, so he's not Kermit size, but he is diminutive. So maybe that's the best we can do. But he's I love that guy. I met him through a mutual friend. And he is free, as is Lisa Loeb, who I went to college with, and we're trying to get other musicians as well. If anyone, one thing I thought of is there's a group called the Kings of Leon, and they are all brothers and cousins, so I thought they would be perfect. So if anyone happens to be best friends with Kings of Leon, tell them to come sing at the Global Family Reunion.
We're tight.
Yeah? Great.
Not at all. Okay, Karen, you want to toss out another question?
Sure. You know, I just wonder who some of folks' favorite ancestors are, and what makes them their favorites.
I'll start this one because I have a favorite, and he comes up a lot in these hangouts for some reason, but it's not my fault. His name is Philip Babb. He is my 9th great-grandfather, and he's a documented ghost. He was on the coast of Maine back in the 1600s, and he would, after he died, well, they say he ran around with pirates, and so they said he had this huge buried treasure. And after he died, people spotted him at this cove of his in a butcher's apron with a cleaver, and he would chase people around and hunt them. He disappeared in the 1900s, though. Nobody's seen him since then, but he's just one of my favorites. It's fun to have a documented ghost in the family.
That is great.
Do you have a favorite?
Who's that, me? Well, it was fun to, I mean, it is always fun to figure out your path to great people like Abraham Lincoln, even though he's not a blood relative. I just love that the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, or in this case, more like, I think it was like 18 degrees of Abraham Lincoln. And when I was on the Conan O'Brien show, I told him about how he was related to Abraham Lincoln, and Abraham Lincoln is his hero. But I wanted to keep him sort of humble, so I said, you know, yes, you are related to Abraham Lincoln, but you're also related to a bunch of loser presidents like Millard Fillmore and Chester A. Arthur. And he's like, oh, that makes sense. And I hope there are no direct descendants of Millard Fillmore here, and I hope I'm not insulted. I'm sure he was in his day. He had his he had his skills.
That's great. Anybody else have a favorite ancestor they want to share? Going once, going twice. Next question. How about Tom? Do you have another question?
Sure, AJ. Among the many things that you'll be looking forward to, what thing do you think would be the thing that you are going to be the most looking forward to at the reunion?
Oh man, I don't know. I am so excited for way too many parts of it. You know, we've got great speakers. I think we've got these fun activities. But one thing is that I just think it'll be so cool to have all of these people together who are related, even if they're totally distant, and just meeting thousands of other people who are in your family, and we'll all have these name tags, and there'll be a WikiTree booth and other booths where you can try to figure out how you are linked. So these people who are, you know, from totally different parts of the country, or the world, to have them all together, meeting each other, talking about common interests, talking about genealogy. To me, that's sort of the essence. That's the center of the reunion.
Great.
So,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Well, Karen, did you want to talk a little bit about connecting folks?
Sure. Yeah, it's become one of my just most favorite things to do. I discovered WikiTree after being a Wikipedia and Wiktionary author, and just the idea of bringing genealogy to the crowd, to all of us, and allowing us to collaborate and work together on one big family. And I love the way that we sharpen each other's work. Sometimes I feel like I'm a better editor than an author, so I like to come behind and clean things up, or we see the requests for connecting folks, and like Abby said, so often we want to go back to our ancestors, but when we look around the family table, like at Thanksgiving, who we see is our in-laws and our adopted folks and our close friends. And I've loved just learning about all my cousins on WikiTree, that I often will go look at someone's spouse and trace a connection from there. Particularly, I had a lot of fun with Connection Combat on WikiTree, and found that everybody else would be looking at the ancestors, but prominent people marry prominent people, and so by hitting those spouses and moving sideways, I found a lot of folks. And although I could sometimes make those connections very quickly, I like to kind of clean as I go. Like if I lose my keys at home, instead of tearing the place apart to find the keys, I just start cleaning, start putting things away. And I do that when building profiles too. I just keep adding those profiles until we find the magic cousin that makes the connection. And sometimes even if we don't, we've made the tree so much bigger and broader. I've connected folks who are prominent, folks from the cousin requests, and while I was thinking about getting together today, it's a little chilly in Colorado, so I didn't stand outside, but I wonder if I can show you out the window that I just looked out the window of the office, and I went, well, what do I see? I see the Front Range of the Rockies, and one of the snow-capped peaks in the cloud is named for our cousin Stephen Harriman Long, who links to us through AJ's Fink ancestors. And the peak right behind Long's Peak is Mount Meeker, which is named for Nathan Meeker, an Indian agent who tried to bring religious reform and other reforms to the Ute community, which they disliked so much that they shot him and 10 of his coworkers to death. He comes to us through AJ's Uncle Stanley. When I look out another part of the window, I see the windmills of the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, which was brought to us by President Jimmy Carter, another of AJ's Uncle John Stanley's relatives. So I just love the way I see these connections everywhere, and the diverse number of sources that we use to make the connections, from the paid sites that some of us rely on, where we budget money to have access to records, to, as Abby mentioned, just Googling that name and seeing what comes up and seeing how many newspaper pages that Google has brought to us. I also love to phone up a public librarian in the area where I'm researching and say, hey, what should I do? Where should I look? Because those are folks whose whole life's work is based on bringing us solid information about the past and the present. And another favorite thing to do is to look for a local volunteer through sites like Random Acts of Genealogical Kindness, where you can find folks who've enlisted as a volunteer to do lookups in their area. The day I did that for one of Bush correspondent Nicole Wallace's ancestors, and found someone up in Thunder Bay, Ohio, I walked around the house all day going, we've got boots on the ground, people, because I love the idea of having a local connection in the field, doing research for us, which is another person that's excited about genealogy. When I start telling family stories at the gathering, sometimes my own cousins' eyes start to glass over and they know where this is going, and I'm going to start pulling out the DNA kits and the cotton swabs. So I'm so looking forward to the reunion and meeting a whole bunch of folks who are excited about getting to know their family.
Wow, that is wonderful. I love that sentiment. And I love the idea that it's all over. I feel the same way. Everywhere I look, it's like, oh yeah, that, Central Park, that's Frederick Law Olmsted, who we've connected to on the Global Family Tree. So it's just really, really beautifully said. Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, that was beautifully said. Thank you, Karen. Look, I noticed there was one very practical question in the G Plus group from Linda Grantham. She asked, what are the hours of the GFR?
That I can answer. It will be all day long, so it started about 9 a.m. and ended about 6 p.m. And there'll be speakers all day. There are going to be 3 different stages, so there'll be speakers on 2 of the stages, and then the 3rd stage will be more music and comedy. I think the Sister Sledge will sing the We Are Family around 4 o'clock. There'll be a group photo, family photo at about 3 o'clock. But whenever you show up, something interesting will be happening, I believe.
Awesome. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. AJ, do you have any final words or thoughts before I say goodbye?
Well, I know I'm about a week late, but in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I just want to say how grateful I am to everyone on WikiTree for helping out with this project, because it really just it would not exist without you and your enthusiasm. And so, thank you. It's awesome. It's quite amazing, and I really do think that people have latched onto it around the world because they love the vision of the WikiTree vision of one world tree and proving we're all one big family. So thank you.
Thank you, AJ.
Awesome. And yeah, thank you, AJ, for just even coming up.
Oh, my pleasure.
Global Family Reunion, and just for letting me personally and WikiTree be involved. We love it.
Of course, I love it.
Great. And thanks to everyone that joined us in the Hangout today. It's been fun having you guys here. Thanks to everyone who participates on WikiTree. We love all of you. We're excited about everything you do. And have a happy holiday. We're out of here.
Peace.
Thanks, everyone.